You know that feeling, right? When you've been wrestling with some big, complicated idea for ages, and then suddenly, bam, it just clicks. It all makes sense. Well, that incredible feeling of clarity, that aha moment, is exactly what we're going to dive into today.
So, here's the game plan. First up, we're going to talk about what that aha moment really is. Then, we'll ground it with a really cool core idea. After that, we'll get into how you can actually express what you've learned and why asking more questions is a good thing. And we'll tie it all together to show you why this whole journey really matters to your story. All right, let's jump right in with that aha moment. You know, it's that flash of insight, that sudden wave of understanding. We've all been there. But what's actually going on inside our heads when that happens?
Seriously, just think about it for a second. One moment you're totally lost in the fog, and the next, poof, the confusion is gone. All that's left is this pure, simple clarity. It is, without a doubt, one of the best feelings you can get when you're learning something new.
Okay, so here's the key thing our source material points out. These aha moments, they don't just happen by accident. They're not some random flash of lightning. No, they're actually the result of you doing the work, of self-exploration. When you're engaging with these new ideas, you're literally building new roads in your brain, paving the way for that final, brilliant spark to connect everything.
So, to make sure this doesn't all stay up in the clouds, we're going to ground this whole thing with a really powerful concept. Let's dive into the core idea here, which is coexistence.
So check this out. This is the big idea we're going to play with. It basically says that, well, everything that exists is in a state of coexistence. Think of it like a bunch of individual things, or units, all just submerged together in space. I know, it's a huge idea, so let's definitely break that down a bit more.
Okay, so the most important part to get here is that this isn't just some random mess. In this way of looking at things, every single unit, from a tiny atom all the way up to a giant star, is energized and self-organized. It's kind of like a perfect ecosystem, right? Where every little piece has its own thing going on, but it all works together in harmony. This is exactly the kind of big, brain-bending idea that you gotta chew on for a while before, click, it finally makes sense.
Now, once that idea, whether it's coexistence or any other big concept, finally clicks for you, the journey isn't over. In fact, it enters a whole new phase. You stop just taking in the idea, and you start making it your own. And that brings us to our next part, expressing your understanding.
And this part is absolutely crucial. Taking that new understanding that's inside your head and making it real, tangible, giving it a form outside your brain, that's what really cements it in place. It stops being just a thought and becomes something you've actually created.
And just look at all the different ways you can do this. We're not just talking about writing a boring old essay. You could sketch it out, write a poem about it, build a cool diagram, heck, even just make a social media post that explains it in your own words. The how isn't nearly as important as the doing. It's all about the act of creating.
I just love this quote from the source material. It is the story of your own life, and it matters. Think about that. Whatever you make, whatever you put out there, it becomes a piece of your story. It's a snapshot of your unique journey to understanding something new. And that journey, your story, it has real, incredible value.
But here's the interesting thing. When you try to express what you know, it almost always shines a big, bright light on what you don't know yet. And that's perfect, because that leads us right into our next section, the journey of inquiry. This is where your new questions become your compass.
This is the sign of true deep learning. An aha moment, it's not the end of the road. It's actually a doorway. It solves one puzzle, but in doing so, it opens up a whole new room full of puzzles you didn't even know existed. And that's not scary, that's awesome.
And the source gives us a really simple but super powerful way to do this. Step 1, just get a notebook and write down your questions and doubts, all of them. Then, as you keep exploring, go back to that list every now and then. You'll be amazed at how many you can suddenly answer. Just check them off. And the ones that are still left, well, that's your new frontier. Those are the juicy topics you get to dive into next. You see the pattern here? It's this beautiful self-powering cycle. You explore, you get that aha, you express it, and that expression sparks new questions, which sends you right back into exploration mode. This is how one little spark of insight grows into real, deep, lasting wisdom. All right, let's pull all these threads together. This last part is all about you. Your story matters. So how do we make this a practical process that you can actually use in your own life? Here it is, the whole path, boiled down to 4 simple steps. 1. You explore the idea yourself. 2. You let that aha moment happen in its own time. 3. You lock it in by expressing it creatively. And 4. You keep the fire going by writing down your new questions. That right there, that's the engine of real understanding.
And I really want to be clear about this. This isn't just a method for studying some dusty old book or for a class you're taking. Not at all. You can use this for anything. For learning a new skill for your job, for figuring out a complicated relationship, for understanding yourself a little better. It's a powerful framework for making sense of, well, pretty much everything.
So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with this one thought. The next time you come across a big, tricky, maybe even intimidating idea, don't back away. Lean into it. Embrace that journey of exploration, of creation, and of asking questions. Because you honestly never know what amazing truth is waiting for you in your next aha moment. So what will yours reveal?